inside.
In a world where life and death were separated by the thinnest of blades, one man rose above the rest. A warrior, a philosopher, a strategist. His name? Miyamoto Musashi. And today, his teachings transcend time, influencing not just martial artists, but leaders, entrepreneurs, and thinkers across the globe. His book is more than a guide to swordsmanship. It's a blueprint for mastering the art of life. So, what can a 17th century samurai teach us about modern challenges? And why do his lessons still resonate today? Let's dive into the extraordinary world of Miyamoto Musashi and his masterpiece, the Book of Five Rings. Musashi wasn't just a swordsman, he was a living legend. Born in 1584, in an era of constant war, his life was shaped by conflict. By the age of 13, he fought and won his first duel. By 30, he had never been defeated in over 60 duels. But Musashi was more than a warrior. He was an innovator. He developed a revolutionary two-sword style called Niten Ichi Ryu, the school of the strategy of two heavens as one, challenging the rigid traditions of the samurai. And as he aged, his focus shifted from physical combat to philosophy, art, and strategy. It was during his final years, while meditating in a cave, that he wrote the Book of Five Rings. This wasn't a book for swordsmen alone. It was a guide to understanding the principles of life itself. And at the heart of this book are the five rings: earth, water, fire, wind, and void. Each represents a different aspect of strategy and mastery. Let's explore them, one by one. The earth ring is where Musashi begins. And it's no coincidence it's the cornerstone of everything else he teaches. Think about it. Can a house stand tall without a solid foundation? Of course not. Just as a carpenter meticulously studies their materials and tools before building, Musashi believed that mastering the basics is essential for any kind of success, whether in combat or in life. Musashi uses this carpenter metaphor to drive his point home. A skilled carpenter doesn't just grab a saw and start cutting. They study the wood, choose the right tools, and plan their approach. In the same way, Musashi insists that a warrior, or anyone striving for mastery, must understand the fundamental principles of their craft. Without this foundation, even the most ambitious plans will crumble. He famously wrote, "If you know the way broadly, you will see it in all things." What does that mean? It means that understanding one discipline deeply allows you to see patterns and principles that apply universally. This isn't just about swordsmanship. Imagine a pianist who practices scales endlessly, or an athlete who perfects their form through repetition. These fundamentals may seem simple, but they're the bedrock upon which greatness is built. But Musashi doesn't just focus on the physical act of practice. He emphasizes the mental discipline behind it. Patience and consistency are key. How often do we rush to get to the good part, skipping over the basics because we're eager for the flashy techniques? Musashi warns against this. He believed that shortcuts in the early stages lead to weaknesses later on. The earth ring isn't glamorous, but it's powerful. It reminds us to slow down, focus on the fundamentals, and build something that lasts. Whether you're learning a skill, starting a career, or simply trying to improve yourself, Musashi's advice is clear: master the basics first. Once your foundation is strong, the next challenge is learning to adapt to life's changes. And that brings us to the second ring: water. If the earth ring teaches stability, the water ring teaches flexibility. Musashi uses water as a metaphor to explain the essence of adaptability, and it's brilliant when you think about it. Water flows around obstacles, fills every crack, and adjusts to the shape of its container. It doesn't resist, it moves. For Musashi, adaptability was critical in combat and in life. He wrote, "You must make your way through life like water flowing down a stream." It's a simple image, but the lesson is profound. Rigidity can break you, but flexibility allows you to survive and thrive. In battle, this principle means adjusting your stance or tactics to counter your opponent's moves. In life, it might mean pivoting your goals when circumstances change. Think about it. How often do we try to force things to go our way, only to find that resistance creates more problems? Musashi teaches us to let go of rigid expectations and respond fluidly to the moment. This lesson is especially relevant in today's world, where change is constant. Industries evolve, technology advances, and challenges arise that we never saw coming. Those who can adapt, whether they're entrepreneurs navigating market shifts or individuals embracing new opportunities, are the ones who succeed. But adaptability isn't just about being reactive. Musashi emphasizes the importance of staying calm under pressure. Like water that flows steadily even in turbulent rapids, we must remain composed in the face of challenges. This clarity of mind allows us to see possibilities that others might miss. Musashi also highlights the dual nature of water. It can be gentle, nurturing life, or powerful, carving through rock. The key is knowing when to be which. This balance between strength and gentleness is what makes water so effective, and it's what makes adaptability such a powerful skill. But adaptability alone won't get you where you want to go. Sometimes you need to act boldly and seize the moment. That's the lesson of the fire ring. Fire is energy, momentum, and passion. It's what drives us forward and fuels our biggest achievements. But fire can also be dangerous if it's uncontrolled. In the fire ring, Musashi teaches us the importance of acting boldly while maintaining focus and control. He writes, "When you decide to strike, strike with everything you have." This isn't just about combat, it's a principle for life. How many times have we hesitated when faced with an opportunity? How often have we let doubt or fear hold us back? Musashi's fire ring is a call to overcome that hesitation. In battle, hesitation can be fatal. The same applies to life. Musashi believed that success often depends on sensing the rhythm of the moment and acting decisively. But he also warns against reckless action. Fire must be harnessed and directed. Otherwise, it consumes everything in its path. Consider a business leader launching a new product. They've done their research, prepared their team, and identified the perfect moment. When the time comes, they act boldly, fully committing to the launch. Or think of an athlete taking a game-winning shot in the final seconds. They can't hesitate, they must trust their preparation and act with confidence. The fire ring reminds us that timing, intensity, and control are the keys to victory. It's not enough to act. We must act at the right time and with the right focus. Musashi also emphasizes the importance of momentum. Once you start moving, the energy builds, carrying you forward. But getting started, that first spark, is often the hardest part. The fire ring encourages us to ignite that spark and trust in our ability to keep the flame alive. But fire alone isn't enough. To truly master life and strategy, we must also learn to understand others. That's where the wind ring comes in. The wind ring invites us to look beyond ourselves. Musashi teaches that true mastery comes from understanding not just our own way, but all ways. Why? Because by understanding others, their strengths, weaknesses, and perspectives, we gain insight into the bigger picture. He writes, "To know only yourself and not others is insufficient." In combat, this meant studying the techniques of rival schools. Musashi didn't imitate them. He analyzed them to understand their strengths and weaknesses. This allowed him to anticipate their moves and refine his own strategies. This principle is just as relevant today. In business, understanding your competitors helps you find opportunities they might miss. In relationships, seeing the world through another person's eyes leads to better communication and deeper connections. The wind ring isn't just about competition. It's also about collaboration. By appreciating different perspectives, we expand our understanding and discover new possibilities. And finally, we come to the void, the most profound and abstract of Musashi's teachings. The void ring is the most abstract, yet it might also be the most profound of Musashi's teachings. If the other rings teach us tangible lessons how to build foundations, adapt, act decisively, and understand others, the void takes us beyond all of that. It represents the unknown, the space where infinite possibilities exist. and the mastery that comes when conscious thought gives way to pure instinct. Musashi describes the void as the place where nothing exists, yet everything is possible. At first, this might sound confusing. How can nothing hold everything? But the void isn't about emptiness in a literal sense. It's about reaching a state of clarity and intuition where you no longer need to think about your actions. Instead, you simply act. Think of those moments in life when everything clicks. An athlete calls it being in the zone. A musician feels it as a flow state, and a writer experiences it when words pour effortlessly onto the page. That's the void in action, a state where preparation, experience, and instinct come together seamlessly. You're no longer caught up in overthinking or self-doubt. Instead, you're fully present, fully engaged, and completely in harmony with what you're doing. For Musashi, this was the pinnacle of mastery. At this level, a swordsman no longer thinks about their movements. They simply happen. The sword becomes an extension of the body, and every action flows naturally and effortlessly. But the void isn't just about combat. It applies to every aspect of life. Consider a surgeon performing a complex procedure. Their hands move with precision, not because they're consciously calculating every step, but because years of training and practice have made their actions instinctual. Or think of a seasoned leader making a tough decision in the heat of a crisis. They don't hesitate or second-guess themselves. They trust their judgment and act with confidence. Musashi believed that the void couldn't be learned from words or teachings alone. He writes, "You cannot learn this by merely reading this book. You must train consistently." The void isn't something you achieve overnight. It's something you grow into through practice, reflection, and dedication. One of the most powerful lessons of the void is its focus on simplicity. At its core, mastery isn't about adding complexity. It's about stripping away the unnecessary until only the essence remains. The void teaches us that the highest level of skill often looks effortless, not because it's easy, but because it's refined. This principle applies everywhere. A master chef creates a dish with just a few ingredients, but the flavors are perfectly balanced. A seasoned athlete moves with grace, making even the hardest tasks look simple. A great leader communicates with clarity, cutting through chaos with a few well-chosen words. These moments of simplicity are the hallmarks of mastery, and they reflect the wisdom of the void. But reaching this level isn't easy. The void requires letting go of ego, of fear, of overthinking. It's about trusting the process and embracing the unknown. It's about stepping into the moment with complete confidence, knowing that you've prepared yourself for whatever comes. The void also emphasizes awareness. When you're in this state, distractions fade away, and you see things as they truly are. You're not caught up in worries about the past or fears about the future. You're fully present, fully connected, and fully alive. Ultimately, the void represents freedom. It's the freedom to act without hesitation, to create without limitation, and to live without fear. It's the state where all the elements earth, water, fire, and wind come together, creating harmony and balance. Musashi's Void Ring challenges us to go beyond techniques, beyond strategies, and beyond the limits we place on ourselves. It reminds us that mastery isn't about controlling everything. It's about letting go and trusting in the flow of life. And with that, we've come full circle. From the grounding strength of Earth to the boundless possibilities of the void, Musashi's 5 rings offer a timeless guide to mastering not just combat, but life itself. So, what have we learned from Musashi's Book of 5 Rings? It's much more than a manual for warriors. It's a philosophy for anyone striving to improve themselves, overcome challenges, and achieve mastery in their chosen path. The Earth Ring teaches us the importance of strong foundations. Whether you're learning a skill, starting a career, or building a relationship, you need a stable base to grow from. Without mastering the basics, you can't hope to achieve lasting success. The Water Ring reminds us of the power of adaptability. Life is unpredictable, and those who can flow with change like water, moving around obstacles, are the ones who thrive. It's a lesson in resilience, flexibility, and staying calm under pressure. The Fire Ring inspires us to act boldly and decisively. Opportunities don't wait, and hesitation can hold us back. Musashi challenges us to strike with confidence when the moment is right, trusting in our preparation and seizing the chance to make an impact. The Wind Ring encourages us to broaden our perspective. By understanding others, their strengths, weaknesses, and viewpoints, we gain valuable insights that help us refine our own strategies. It's a lesson in humility, collaboration, and the power of seeing the bigger picture. Finally, the Void Ring shows us the ultimate goal of mastery, a state of effortless action where thought and movement are perfectly aligned. It's about letting go of fear, trusting in your abilities, and living fully in the moment. Musashi's teachings remind us that mastery isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's about committing to continuous growth, learning from every experience, and striving to be better than you were yesterday. Lastly, as you walk your own path, remember the wisdom of the 5 rings. Be steady like earth, flexible like water, bold like fire, open like wind, and free like the void. Whether you're leading a team, pursuing a dream, or simply seeking to live with purpose, Musashi's lessons are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. As Musashi himself said, the way is in training. So, keep training, keep growing, and most importantly, keep moving forward.